Today we are doing QWOP.
Yes, we are.
Everyone's favorite game that no one can play. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Screen to Screen. I'm Andrew, and this is Chris.
Why, hello there. So the thing about QWOP is it's essentially a man having to run a marathon who doesn't know how to move?
Yeah, doesn't know how his body works.
Doesn't know how a human move.
Yeah.
And I think the fun way to do a movie with that is start with why doesn't they know how to move?
Sure. That's the core concept.
It is the core concept. So I'm gonna go real big. I'm gonna go with the end of time, the end of days.
The end of time.
The end of days. I'm talking apocalypse is on its way.
Okay.
And our characters are an inscrutable, hard to understand when you look at an angel. I'm talking old-timey angels who are always
like if you saw them you'd go insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
For those of you who aren't big on reading weird descriptions of angels and demons, which is a hobby of mine, angels are often described as being just impossible to look at. They're swirling orbs of light. They have wings coming out everywhere. There's twisting and turning gears inside of them. They're as far from human as you can get. And when I say human, I mean human understanding.
Like a cosmic horror.
Yeah, demons are often described as being amalgamations of different animals.
Sure.
Even Baphomet is
the goat boy.
It's a goat person who has breasts and a penis and human arms.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the more senior demons and devils. A lot of the lower ones are often described as part crocodile, part lion, part eagle, and there are no human parts involved.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we have one of those classic wagers between good and evil.
Sure.
And the stakes are as high as they can go. End of the world stakes.
Okay.
Because if you're going to have a movie about something as silly as QWOP, I think the stakes should be outlandishly high.
That is pretty funny, yeah.
And I'm thinking, a demon that's never even approached looking like a human, an angel that doesn't even look like a living thing.
Right.
And they are having their all right, well, if I win, end of days.
Oh, okay.
Well, if I win, you leave humanity alone for another 10,000 years.
Okay. I'm already themes are already brewing in my head.
Right.
What does it mean to be human?
What's it mean to be human?
What are the forces that control us? A lot of ideas brewing up here. Okay.
There's so much fun you could have because obviously, spoilers for our movie we're making up as you listen, but the contest they're going to undertake is going to be a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Tone, if you've ever read Good Omens, I'm really I love Good Omens. I think it's one of the funniest books I've ever read. It was Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett were the two authors, and both of them said they were kind of trying to channel Douglas Adams when they were writing the book.
Yeah, definitely felt like that.
Yeah, Douglas Adams, great British humorist, great author, wrote some great stuff. Good friends with both of those authors, and it was kind of an homage to him in a lot of ways.
It's got that sort of that British aloofness in a very high stakes.
Yes.
Sort of that's where the humor comes in.
Yes. And I loved it because the demon didn't care about the stakes. He didn't even want to participate. It's just his job.
Yeah. And
the angel, meanwhile, is just good friends with the demon. So it's just I don't want to be doing this either, man.
That's a funny. I think a Good Omens kind of feel to it.
Yes. So we have our two characters. I think the movie's going to start with basically two disembodied voices, and if you want to go with a funny visual gag, one thing anime likes doing is the mosaic censorship for perfectly mundane things.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Or anything that someone shouldn't see. A cockroach in a kitchen is always mosaicked because that's a gross thing.
Okay.
So just these two inscrutable entities that are mosaicked because they're unknowable.
Because to look upon them would cause you great mental pain.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they're fun visual gags you could do there. You could have a title card for them and labels.
Or here's another, because I like that. I think that's very funny. I don't know if you could sustain a whole first act of that, but my thought is the narrator can say for the sake of your sanity, we've replaced these characters with these actors.
Yes, I like that a lot.
Something like that.
I would love to have a narrator. Unfortunately, a lot of people I want to use for this are dead, which is really annoying. Like Alan Rickman.
That's the first guy I thought of.
Right? He would be a perfect narrator.
I was just gonna say Alan Rickman.
Oh God, Alan Rickman would be great for the narrator.
That's crazy that we both thought of that.
All right, oh my God,
Alan Rickman impersonator.
He might be dead, but I don't think he is. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. He's
no, he's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, he had a stroke recently.
But he could still talk.
Yeah, he would be a great narrator too.
Yeah, that would be a great role because I love to see Tim Curry and stuff.
And I think a voiceover is the perfect role. For him.
Yeah.
So Tim Curry is the voiceover, the narrator. He's a narrator. I'm thinking we're gonna open on the Olympics. It's the 2020 Olympics.
Okay.
Where they're...
So it's the near future.
The near future. I mean, if we want to put this like 4 years after that,
whatever.
Like,
it's
whatever's good for when this movie's being made. The next available Olympics.
Right.
If you want to keep it a timeless movie, or at least timeless for a little while, because eventually technology is going to...
Right.
Just say the Olympics.
The Olympics, yeah.
So it takes place at the Olympics. We have 2 competing countries, probably America and like pick a country that'd be a good one for this. And like the stakes are high for these 2 runners who are like, I'm going to wipe the floor with you. You don't understand. Winning this means the world to me. Establish for them that winning this race is very important. These people.
I mean, it shouldn't be too hard. It's the Olympics.
Yeah, it's the Olympics. Like they've trained their whole lives for this. But just like have them use words and terminology that really establishes that the stakes are like overwhelmingly large for them. And they keep on like, it means the world. Like I would literally die if I didn't win.
Yeah.
And then like camera just whips up into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
And we have these 2 inscrutable beings talking about their competition, their wager.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they're going to possess those 2 runners we have. That way we have super high stakes for the 2 humans, super high stakes for the 2 inscrutable entities.
This actually reminds me of I'm trying to remember the name of it now. It was I think it was Absolutely Everything or Absolutely Anything. And what happens is that Simon Pegg gets magical powers. He could do absolutely anything.
I remember the trailer.
Yeah,
all right.
And I mean, it could have been a lot better. It was kind of sad to see that all of these very talented people were in a kind of movie. But the reason why I bring it up is just kind of like the plot of that was like they're going to destroy Earth for some sort of Douglas Adams reason, and I think like there's like a code, or they have to like test them first. So they give Simon Pegg the powers of a god and see if he abuses it. If he doesn't abuse it, then Earth is saved. If he does, they wipe everyone out.
Yeah.
And
I remember from the trailer when he has a super buff body. He wants to be very attractive.
There's like all a bunch of stuff that happens in the movie. But I don't know, like it feels like tonally very similar to this. Maybe this is a chance to sort of improve on that film.
Yeah.
So, all right, I want to. We've got some good character ideas here. I want to see if we can bring this back into the game itself.
Yeah.
There's not much to the game.
There's really not.
But I just want to make sure, like, when people see this, like, oh, I saw the QWOP movie. So I imagine, like, when the race starts, that's when we're gonna start seeing the real floppiness. Or is the race?
So
no, the race can't be like.
Here's my thought.
Has to be the third
act 3 has to be the marathon, like the big race.
But that's a train.
Exactly. So Act 1, we establish the characters. We meet the humans. We have their stakes. We establish who they are as people. We go up. We meet the angel and the demon. We get their characters. We get their general needs and desires. Act 2 should probably be flipping between our 2 runners, where inside their heads they're having conversations with the demons. They're having wacky, like they're trying to learn how to use their bodies.
Yeah. And they're flopping around. They're really having a bad time.
They're super QWOPy.
Yeah.
Like the angel's trying to use positive reinforcement to get his runner to work well. The demon's trying to scare him into it.
Yeah. The demon's like, if I win, the world will end, but you could rule by my side or something like that. You
want to be a king of hell? You'll get to be on Earth. You'll have all the beautiful women you ever wanted. I just want to win this race.
Oh, it'd be a kind of a fun twist if at the end, like the demon possessed guy tries to like lose. What I want, I think it'd be kind of funny is if like there's like a good guy and a bad guy, and the good guy gets possessed by the demon, and the bad guy gets possessed by the angel.
That's kind of where I want to go too.
Okay, I think that'd be kind of a funny kind of thing.
We could have like other demons and angels involved, like they could possess trainers and just like pop in and be like,
sure.
You gotta win this.
Yeah.
Just like to keep the stakes and the jokes going.
And a lot of flopping. Like,
oh god, like the second act is entirely just like on the floor, like trying to figure out how to use bodies.
I'm seeing like scenes not just on the track, but like, you know, every day-to-day stuff.
Oh
like,
god, like I'm thinking Octodad.
Well, yeah. I mean, something like that.
Not knowing how to drink water anymore.
Yeah. Not knowing how to walk down the street to get out of bed, to
not knowing they're supposed to eat food. Like that could be fun.
Yeah, like there's a whole bunch of stuff, like it's just there's two entities going on in each person.
Mm-hmm. There could be a scene where like they're at a dinner table and like oh god, it smells terrible in here. He shit his pants. Just doesn't know you're supposed to do that in a special place.
Yeah. That's all good.
Like there's a lot of room for just like wacky good humor that you don't really see that often these days.
Yeah. A lot of good flopping. I imagine we probably... All right, so this is a movie that could not be made before, but we're finally approaching the time, because I see this as a live-action movie, but like a live-action in quotes, because it looks live-action.
A lot of like CGI assisting to like have the limbs all be floppy and out of place.
Right. All of these people you're seeing, like maybe it's like mocap. Like the whole movie, they are live action as far as you can tell, but there's all that flopping is unnatural. You
like,
need
clearly like their legs are going to be like whipping around and like bending the wrong way.
Like I'm seeing it like what's the name of that? It's like there's that short with a floppy guy. It's like ding 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 ding.
Oh yeah.
What's the name of that?
That's
it's something like walking to work or something. I can't remember what it's called.
Going downtown, walking to the store.
Yeah. But that's a very like. That's quality, but even more realistic.
Like perfectly integrated.
Yeah, because
that'd be so good.
That's a good short because I mean it looks like whatever that thing is really there, but it doesn't look like a real person.
Yeah.
We got to take it one more notch to make it look like a real person.
I would love this movie. Like Act 1 is just normal people, angels. Like we're establishing the stakes. Act 2, they're trying to live their lives and like they're. The humans, like they're prisoners in their own minds, trying to interact with these beyond human intellects, and they're also trying to get through their day-to-day lives.
I've got a way to spice this up a little bit.
Oh, go on.
Okay?
Spice it up.
Now, we take everything that we've come up with so far in terms of the stakes and the plot, but we shove that toward the end of the movie.
Okay.
The beginning of the movie is that a demon and an angel are friends, and they get up to some mischief, and God punishes them. Like, you have to know what it's like to be a human. You're messing with humans too much. You need to know what it's like to be human. And so that's when they both have to do this thing.
The marathon.
Then they have to just live as humans.
Okay.
And then the plot progresses, yada, yada. They're up to their old mischief again. And now they make a wager as these humans. Like, I bet I could win this race. And now they're like betting humanity on like who's going to be the better human.
Okay.
Like I just to give like because that like wager I like it, but as the starting with that it kind of does make me think of those other movies. I kind of like this idea of this angel demon buddy comedy where they're trying to one up each other, but they're also learning what it's like to be human. They're in literally another man's shoes. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we started by saying we want this to have the tone of Good Omens and. We just push it a little bit closer to Good Omens, where that is like the angel and the demon are friends, they're buddies, and like as the story progresses, like the stakes are like, oh hey, apocalypse is happening, and like the demon's just like, oh my god, I don't want to deal with this.
This is so it's these two like mystical beings. They're punished by you're now human. You need to know what it's like to be mortal, whatever.
Yeah. Which I like a lot because I do want to see where like
these are these are things like these are the day-to-day things. Racing isn't even in, and maybe it's in the background, maybe the Olympics is on, but it's not even like they're not even considering that. Then once they finally they can start doing human stuff. Once they finally get it, now comes Act 3. They got to run a race. And they've mastered walking. They have not mastered running.
Yes.
And I think that's maybe why, now we're in the running. Why
I like that. I like that a lot. So like we've seen them kind of totter around. And
yeah. Maybe they learn it's not just about getting the arms and legs to work properly.
There's more to it.
There's more to it than that.
Like being a good father, being a good friend.
Yeah,
all of this could be wrapped in there.
And then I guess neither of them win because how could they possibly?
They're obviously not going to win the race, but maybe like the stakes are whichever one passes the finish line. And like a fun thing could be after the demon spent so much time being a person and having kids for a while, like he's winning and he just stops and like helps the angel across the finish line.
That's pretty good. I kind of like that
because he learns the value of he all
wants
these
to
lives.
give these people another chance or something.
Maybe he's about to pass the finish line and like he looks up and he sees his kids cheering him on. And he's like, but if I win for them, they die.
Yeah, like maybe the demon kind of starts this as this very cynical sort of like, they had their run, they blew it, they're all a bunch of jerks.
Like, have you heard of nuclear bombs, guys?
Yeah. Like he's coming up with all these very rational decisions of why humanity sucks. And maybe that's it. And then maybe the angel is like too optimistic and doesn't think that they're perfect. And then they both kind of see the opposite of that.
Yeah, we could the angel could get mugged.
Yeah. And he can't do anything. He's like, "Give me your wallet." Like, "I'm trying."
Which one's the wallet?
And he's like flopping his arm into his pocket. But yeah, like the angel has a terrible time on Earth and the demon is like, he sees the good in everyone.
So neither of them wants to win by the end?
Yeah, neither of them wants to win.
They're trying to force the other to win.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be a lot of fun.
That could be pretty funny.
And again, like every time we have a moment, like the action kind of just stops so we could have our good boy, our narrator, drop some fun jokes and lines in there.
Did we decide on Tim Curry?
I think Tim Curry's a good choice. I think he's a really good choice.
And then was the day of the big game. Here's a question to ask. Why is this movie called QWOP if there are no buttons in the movie?
Ooh.
That might be something to consider.
I mean, we could have like a silly inside the head view with like 4 buttons.
We could do that. I mean, that might be where it ends up.
Because that's just a fun like visual gag.
It's a bit of like an inside out sort of thing.
You can even save that for like the very end with maybe like the trainer who's trying to help them with the race. Like, how do you even think running works? And like the camera kind of like zooms way into the head and there's just like 4 buttons on a lit up console. Well, it's pretty much down to 4 buttons.
I've got a bit of a stretch of an idea.
All right, stretch it out.
All right, so they are angels, demons, or I don't know the term to use for both types of things. They're mystical beings. They're
Nephilim. Nephilims.
So they don't know how to walk. Maybe they also don't know how to spell. And maybe this is how they're saying like co-op. Like they need to work together. Like we need to cooperate.
We need to cooperate.
Like, I don't know. That's just like maybe there's something to that, or maybe that's really dumb. Like I'm just trying to see. Or maybe
it's nice working QWOP into it.
I think you can't call a movie QWOP and never use the phrase ever and never address what it means.
Yeah.
Even if it is based on the game.
Like, I feel like part of the fun is if we show the console inside the head, that's like an Easter egg for people that know that QWOP.
Right.
Like, this is why it's called QWOP. Whereas having like the cooperate line also works. Like these are 2 fun ways to have it.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it both ways. I'm just like, the console feels a little like Looney Tunes to me, and I don't know if that's...
Well, that's the tone. Like, do we want it to be?
Yeah,
like that
I don't know. I don't know if I love that idea. It definitely makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another thing. It could be like their initials, QWOP.
Yeah, I guess we don't need to use actual angels and demons.
Or maybe that's the name of their alias that they're, like that's what's on their bags when they're given these new bodies.
How about the contest between angels and demons to determine the end times is called QWOP?
The contest is called QWOP.
It's time for the great QWOP.
And does it stand for something, or that's just what it's an ancient word and that's what we call it?
Can we come up with a good acronym for QWOP right now?
Q is already very hard.
It's pretty difficult.
Or maybe it could be like something like quality assurance. Like you have to test the humans to make sure they're still good.
Qualifying.
Ooh, qualifying. That's good.
What's W? God, these are such hard letters.
Yeah, it's funny how weirdly biblical we've turned QWOP into. I mean, I know like that was like the point of the pitch from the get-go. From the get-go. It's just kind of funny that it took us in that way.
I mean, other fun things you could do, alien invasion,
sure.
But like two aliens are trying to invade at the same time.
Yeah.
So like they each possess a runner. Like just replace the biblical elements with like sci-fi elements. Yeah. The story still works.
There's also like magic. Like that's another way that could happen. And then there's also like
I just like Angels and Demons because like it allows us to put the stakes so wildly high as to be comedic.
But I don't know, just like there's ghosts.
Ghosts. Basically, like you could keep the story 99% the same, just like replace the possessing elements. Yeah, like the important part is they don't know how walking works.
Right. It's like how has a human lasted like not knowing how to do walking? Yeah. Like how is this runner? How did they get there?
And like part of the fun is like if you talk to people that look at locomotion, walking on two legs is just so silly and inefficient and dangerous.
Right. It's very precarious.
You take the most sensitive part of the human body, the head, and you put it as high off the ground as you can, so that if you fall, it's as dangerous as possible. Yeah. Like we made a weird evolutionary choice that most other animals don't make for very solid reasons.
That could be the demon's argument, and then God gets all like pissed off at him. It's like, what are you saying?
Hey,
I did that.
That was my choice.
That could be pretty funny.
Yeah. And of course, I forgot that later on in QWOP, hurdles happen. So that's a fun element. I don't remember if that's a special named race or if it's just called hurdles. Whatever. Point being, like, fun obstacles are involved. That way, like, you can have a moment where one of them, like, I think I got the hang of it, and just, like, flop over a hurdle. So, what the hell is this here for?
What surprisingly, I don't feel like this has the structure of a sports movie.
No, and I think that's intentional.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. I think I like the majority of the film being about the flopping and the third act being about the racing.
Yes, which will involve a lot more flopping too.
Oh, of course. But I think it's the flopping that makes QWOP what it is.
Yes,
and then it's as we see all these different fun scenarios about that, and I think it's about two different ideologies learning about humanity, like two very two beings who have never lived among humans, who have very wrong opinions of them. They're not nuanced enough,
and this allows them to learn the nuance.
And like the angel becomes more cynical, the demon becomes, I guess, more understanding, and empathetic, and they both kind of
and like eventually they meet in the middle and like, you know what, humanity's just kind of humanity. Some people are good, some people are bad.
We could even have some sort of like analogy at the very beginning where like I'm just trying to think of this is an idea I just pulled out of the air, but it's like they try a Kit Kat bar for the first time and like, it's not bad. It's not my favorite. I'd eat this again. And, they're trying that. And then it comes back at the end where it's like, humanity is a Kit Kat bar. It's fine.
It's okay.
I'm glad it's there. I don't
like
know if I'd
option.
miss it so much, but we probably should just let it be.
I think I quit. I am not going to race. I'm not going to race either.
But I feel like that may be like the conclusion they come to, like a callback to some sort of thing they found out.
Like an utterly mundane moment.
Yeah. Like at the beginning when when they're first learning to be human, there's like a mundane thing that they find that's like, this is fine, and that's the conclusion about humanity they make at the end.
Some humans are high quality chocolate, others are garbage, and somewhere in the middle you have a Kit Kat bar.
Yeah,
and I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think the last the Hightower surprise sort of situation is the demon has to convince the angel to cross the finish line.
Yes.
Like that's the last.
I think that'll be really good because the angel doesn't want to.
Yeah.
The demon obviously doesn't want to, and he needs to help the angel win otherwise.
Yeah.
Because eventually, if they don't win this race, people are going to run out there and just drag them across the finish line. And that's bad.
It could be that they get into some sort of fisticuffs with their big floppy bodies, and the demon kind of loses his footing and is about to tumble over the finish line, but at the last moment, the angel grabs him and has a change of heart.
Yes, that's good. I like that. Because you got to have the character who loses faith, they have to come back around a little bit. And that could be the demon's surrogate family kids, seeing them cheering on and knowing they'll die, or the demon's impassioned pleas.
Right.
I think that's an important element of the character arc is after he's lost faith to gain it back just enough to not end the world.
Right. It's we'll give him another 500 years.
Yeah. I like the idea of taking a game as utterly pointless and frustrating as QWOP and making it about the goodness inherent in humanity.
Yeah. Well, I think it fits in that, because I always want to make sure, whenever I do one of these adaptations, I always want to get a theme that works with the game and then use that theme. And I think the theme is learning how to be human. That's pretty much really fits, because you're learning how to walk with a human body. Something that you should know how to do already is very hard. I mean, if this actually ever got made... And the CG was real good.
Oh, just the flopping alone would be great.
This would be either a Oscar-winning movie or at least a cult classic.
Yes.
Because I've never seen that before.
Nor have I.
Main characters looking photorealistic, but very floppy the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't see that. And so this would be a groundbreaking visual effects movie.
Or at least for 2/3 of the movie.
Yeah, right. But then you also have the magical people, and I mean that could look very good too. But I guess that's up to the art department.
Yeah, whether or not they want to show them or just go with the fun. For your benefit, we've censored these inscrutable beings.
Right. All right, well, if you've got a better idea than that for QWOP, let us know. And if you have any other ideas for any other things you want us to discuss on this show, Screen to Screen, you let us know that too.
Yeah, we want your ideas. Give them to us.
Give those ideas this away.
If you know it's good for you, give us those ideas.
And we'll see you next time here on Screen to Screen.
Bye.
Bye.